everything. Blazing speed, unlimited text and talk. Well, sure, it has apps. What's the use of a smartphone without apps? Ugh, hold on a sec. Hey, could you pipe down? I'm on the phone. Thanks. Seriously, take it down a notch. Hey, you still there? Great, now my phone's dead. Thanks a lot, Rabbit. Hey, Bunny, do you know where I can recharge my phone? Is there a cafe close by? Somewhere I can plug it in? What is your rush, Rabbit? Lost in the woods. No phone. No GPS. This must be how the pioneers felt. Oh, now, just fabulous. Looks like rain. Oh, what an ugly storm. Hey, Bunny! I'm talking to you! Why don't you slow down? What's this? A rabbit hole? I should Google it. I seem to be falling. In fact, I'm sure I'm falling and there seems to be no end. Echo! 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 I must be getting somewhere near the center, but that's like 4,000 miles down. I wonder if I'd fall right through the earth. I'd be really far from home. And I bet the reception is awful down here. Oh, what luck. No power and no service. Ugh, Verizon is the worst.
When suddenly, thump.
Where am I? Where have I landed? Is this New Zealand? Or Australia?
The Hall of Strange Doors.
Achoo!
Bless you.
Bless you. Bless you.
Achoo! Achoo!
Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you.
Bless you. Bless you. Bless you. Bless you.
Bless you. Bless you.
Thanks. Hey, doors aren't supposed to talk.
And young girls.
Aren't supposed to sneeze without covering their yappers.
I must have caught a cold in that ugly storm. Say, I wonder where you doors might lead.
Mommy.
Locked. Locked.
Locked.
Then how am I supposed to get out of here? Where did this come from? Maybe this key will open. What a
Not me.
Not I. Not us.
you. Well then, I guess I'll just have to break one of you down.
Oh, awful girl.
That would hurt. How unladylike.
Which one of you shall it be?
He is best.
No, she's best. I'm really much too sturdy.
What about me?
What about you?
It's my secret that he unlocks.
She's crazy.
Goodness, I saw my life flash before my eyes.
But you're such a tiny door. What secrets could you have?
Secrets of the other side.
And what will I find there?
A most magnificent garden full of white roses and tiger lilies. It's called Wonderland.
What just happened?
What do you mean?
Everyone just started carrying on for no reason.
I didn't notice.
So you didn't notice the music and dancing?
Oh, that. By decree of the Queen.
By decree of the Queen, that is, decree of me, whenever a particular word is mentioned, there shall be music and dancing. Anyone who fails to obey this decree, who fails at the utterance of the word, to heed the music and dance like a raving loon, it's off with your head!
That's some stiff talk.
You'll be stiff if you don't obey it.
What's the word?
I'd rather not say.
But you must have just said it.
Crudely observed.
Is it roses or lilies?
Apparently not.
What about white or tiger?
If I were, I'd be dancing, wouldn't I?
Then the word must be Wonderland?
So now you know.
One word has all that power.
Please don't say it again. My knees are killing me.
Describe what that place is like.
It's a land of nonsense make-believe. Danger, beauty, and imagination.
And a place to charge my phone?
I think it has a Starbucks now. Yes.
Perfect. But how will I fit? I'm too big to go through your frame. What's this? Drink me.
Maybe poison.
Could be poison. Probably poison.
It isn't marked poison.
If it were marked poison, no one would drink it.
Well, that would be the point, you see.
Well, there's only one way to be sure. Down the hatch.
Here goes. There now. Tastes like Skittles.
Oh, I can't bear to watch.
Relax. Nothing's happening.
What do you mean nothing's happening? You're
I'm what?
vanishing.
My hands, they're shrinking. And my feet the size of dimes.
And my voice, too. I sound like a Christmas elf. What a curious feeling.
This isn't pretty.
Shut up like a telescope. Hardly a foot tall.
What'll I do now? Look on the bright side. What bright side? I'm 10 inches high. Now, you're the right size to go through me and enter the lovely garden. Yes, that's right, I am. But you'll need the key. The key? No, don't tell me. Now I'm too small to reach the key.
That's a pity.
A crying shame. One should plan ahead before shrinking.
I could just cry. Now, no use for that. Something will turn up. Like what? What's this? Eat me?
A balanced meal.
I bet it's a pizza roll. Or a hush puppy.
It's cake. Should I eat it? That's what it says. Well, the food here is very bossy. Don't complain. There are starving children in the world. I'll eat it. If it makes me larger, I can reach the key. If it makes me smaller, I'll creep under the door. Either way, I'll get into this garden. Let's hope it's gluten-free. Which way? Which way? Seems I'm remaining the same size. This is what generally happens when one eats cake.
moment.
Her face is fattening. Her thighs are bulging.
Curiouser and curiouser.
By George, she's swelling.
Oh dear, I'm growing so tall, and my fingers are moving so far from my toes.
I'll never touch them again. And my voice. I sound like my father. What an awful way for a girl to go through life, 10 feet tall and the voice of a longshoreman. I'll never get through that door now. If I can just forget about prom. You again? Rabbit, wait! What a weird little bunny. Things are too strange here. From one moment to the next, I can never be sure.
Who you are?
Where are you going? How will we get there?
Or who you'll meet along the way.
How did you do that?
Do what exactly?
We're suddenly the same size. You've grown.
Or maybe you shrunk.
But you used to be so tiny.
And you were once a giant.
But now we're both normal.
There's no such thing as normal, my dear. Not in your world nor mine. It's all about where you're standing and how closely you're paying attention. The key, if you please. You may pass.
Bye, young lady.
Thanks for not breaking us down. Don't forget to write.
We love you. We don't love her. We've known her for 5 minutes. Sorry.
You always gush. So embarrassing.
Forgive them. They haven't been open in centuries.
Well, I guess I'm off then. To this place. What is it you call it? Wonderland?
Dance, dance, dance.
Who are you?
I was told there'd be a garden
A garden?
and a Starbucks.
Explain yourself.
A caterpillar smoking a hookah. What a status update you would make.
I said, explain yourself?
I've been so many sizes today, I wouldn't even know where to begin. You really shouldn't smoke, you know.
It soothes me.
Studies show smoking actually causes more stress than it relieves.
Are you a doctor?
I read about it online.
Then spare me.
But you're not even out of your larvae stage yet. You're still a teenager like me.
Waiting to become a butterfly.
Smoking can stunt your growth.
Then I suppose I'll remain a caterpillar forever.
That's too bad. Everyone should grow up at some point.
And how do you plan to grow up? Into a butterfly?
Well, being a girl, I'll soon grow into a woman.
Does a woman have wings?
No, a woman looks very much like I do, except more developed in places.
Please. There are certain things a caterpillar does not need to know.
Sorry, TMI.
TMI?
Too much information?
Why not simply just say, too much information?
It's an abbreviation.
But, you've wasted my time. A caterpillar's life isn't long.
Abbreviations are meant to save time.
But if you have to explain them, they're more trouble than they're worth.
I think we should agree to disagree.
I think we should agree that I'm right and you're wrong.
Well, it's probably best that I get going.
I don't like you.
I don't particularly like you.
You're being snippy now.
Can you point me toward the garden?
If I knew where the garden was, I would have eaten it by now.
Hot off the presses!
Presses!
Queen invites Duchess for a game of croquet.
Invite Duchess for a game of
Get your
croquet.
Drop Tribune.
Get your daily tone.
Breaking news.
Drop Tribune.
In the garden.
Breaking news.
Extra, extra.
Today.
In the garden. I'll take one of those.
Would you rather have the newspaper that gives you the news or one that gives you warts? Which would be, Sweetkins?
I think she would prefer a daily tone. Would you rather have the newspaper that gives you news or one that gives you warts? For the last time, the frogs don't cause warts. Which would be, Sweetkins?
What's the difference between the two papers?
One with my frog.
And one's with my fish.
Those aren't really selling points.
What are you trying to say?
2 worms that all come down to a worm and a half.
Tell you what, just give me one of each.
Hey, you got it. That'll be 2 flies.
2 flies? I don't have 2 flies. How much for yours?
2 worms that all come down to a worm and a half.
How much is price?
I'm afraid I don't have any flies or any worms.
What do you got?
I'm afraid I have nothing to offer you.
So long, Popsicle. You're out as well.
See you later, Bright Eyes.
Oh wait! The garden where the Queen's croquet matches to take place. I must find it. It's one of the reasons I've come to Wonderland.
Quickest way to the woods there.
Straight shot.
But be careful.
There are strange creatures in those woods.
Stranger than a frog and a fish selling newspapers.
Yup.
Read all about it.
Read all about it. Hot off the presses.
Get your Drop Tribune.
Get your daily tone.
Print is so dead.
Queen to play croquet.
Queen to play croquet.
Hey, wait, come back. Which way through the woods? Crazy rabbit!
I'm late.
That's no reason to run me over.
The Queen's to play croquet. She's to play croquet.
I know already. Chill. Aren't you going to help me up?
Yeah, no time.
Then at least let me follow you to the garden.
You won't be able to keep up. I'm terribly tardy as it is.
You know, maybe you should take Xanax. My mom says...
No time for pharmaceuticals. I'm off to the Queen's croquet.
Hang on a sec, rabbit. Now what, cat? Here, Puss Puss. What are you doing out in these woods?
I should ask you the same thing.
Oh, you can speak.
This is news to you?
My cat, Dinah, she can't speak.
I'll wager that she can, but chooses not to.
Oh, she tries, but whenever she opens her mouth, all that ever comes out is...
Meow.
Yes.
Oldest trick in the book. It's not that she doesn't talk, it's that she doesn't talk to you.
Well, that's a very cruel thing to assume.
I assume nothing.
Can you tell me which way I ought to go from here?
That depends a great deal on where you want to get to.
Well, at this point, I don't much care where.
It doesn't matter which way you go.
So as long as I get somewhere.
Oh, you're sure to do that, if you only walk long enough. In that direction lives a hatter, and in that a March hare.
Over there is the house of Tweedledum and Tweedledee, and along that way you'll find Humpty Dumpty on as well. Visit any you like. They're all mad.
I don't want to go among mad people.
Oh, you can't help that. We're all mad here. I'm mad, you're mad.
How do you know that I'm mad?
You must be, or you wouldn't have come here.
Can't you be still?
Be still?
You keep coming and going like bad Wi-Fi. It's very rude.
Play croquet with the Queen today?
Oh, I'd like to very much. But I wasn't invited.
Have you played before?
Never. I hardly know the game at all.
Well, you need an invitation, so long as you have the proper equipment.
A mallet and a ball.
A hedgehog and flamingo.
Yeah, I don't see what those have to do with croquet.
Croquet. How would you know if you haven't played?
I'm getting a headache talking to you.
Is it my purr?
It's your grin.
I'm of the opinion that more cats should grin. We'd have a much rosier reputation.
I somehow doubt that.
Ah, the tea party is underway. I wonder if they've saved me a seat. No matter if they have, I can never stay. It's just nice to be thought of. Well, I'll be on my way, and I'll be taking my grin with me.
No room!
No room, no room.
Ugh, there's tons of room.
I see.
This spot will do, don't you think?
Maybe we're waiting for others.
What others?
That's for us to know and you to believe.
I don't believe you. I think you're lying. I think you don't want me here.
That's right. We don't want you here.
Well, I am here and I'm not leaving. And I'd love some refreshments.
Interloper!
Have some wine.
I don't see any wine.
There isn't any.
And it wasn't very civil of you to offer it.
It wasn't very civil of you to sit down without being invited.
Good one! Zing!
Why don't we all just forget about it and try to get along?
Your hair needs cutting.
What's that?
Your hair, it needs cutting. May I cut it?
Absolutely not.
You attached to that position?
Firmly.
Stubborn girl.
It isn't polite to name call.
What would it hurt to let him at your hair? It cheers him so.
What does he know about haircutting?
He's a hatter. It's his job to shape heads.
Out of the question.
She won't budge. Quite rude.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
A riddle? I like riddles. Why?
I haven't the slightest idea.
Nor I.
It's a waste of time to ask riddles that you don't know the answer to.
Why must everything have an answer?
Excellent question. Although I haven't an answer.
I'll Google it later.
Giggle it?
Google has all the answers.
Who is this giggle person?
It's not a person, it's a search engine.
Well, I don't care for him. Him or his engine. What day of the month is it?
The 4th.
2 days wrong.
What a funny watch. It tells the day of the month, but it doesn't tell the hour.
Why should it? Does your watch tell the year?
No, but that's because it's the same year for such a long time.
Which is the case with mine.
You've lost me.
The dormouse is asleep again.
Of course. Well said. I mean to say precisely what I've already said.
That the hour here is fixed.
The year comes and goes, but the hour is forever the same.
That's messed up.
If you knew time like we knew time, it would all be clear to you.
But it's not logical.
How do you know? I dare say you've never even spoke to time.
Too busy hanging out with that Google fella.
Does he treat you well?
Shall I pour more tea on his nose?
What's that he's singing?
Twinkle, 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 twinkle. Twinkle, twinkle.
I know it well. I'll have you know I once sang it for the Queen.
You sang for the Queen?
Yes, at the Grand Ball.
It's true, he did. And 2 days later, I went mad.
Wouldn't you have to be sane to recognize madness?
Not so. I'm quite mad and quite aware of it.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star. I wonder where you're at.
You know the song?
Something like it.
Up above the world you're at. Like a teacher in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle. I hadn't finished the first verse when the Queen bawled out.
He's murdering the time! Off with his head!
Murdering time? How do you murder time?
She felt my tempo was off.
I felt he was majestic.
And ever since, time will do a thing I ask.
Oh, I get it. It's always tea time.
We never any time to wash the dishes, even if we don't want to.
Perpetual tea.
Because you murdered time.
I was famed.
It's true. You can't get a fair trial in Wonderland.
Let's just pretend it doesn't exist. At least for the time being.
I vote the young lady tells us a story.
I don't know one.
In the dormouse shall.
I wasn't asleep. I heard every word.
Then what have we been talking about?
Beehives? Tell us a story.
About bees?
About whatever.
And be quick about it, or you'll be asleep before it's over.
Okay. Very well. Once upon a time, there lived 3 sisters, and they all lived in the bottom of a well.
What were their names?
Okay. Let's see. Their names are Kelly, Shelley, and Janet. Those are the names of my sisters.
He has a flair for realism.
Okay, and let's see. They all live in the bottom of a well.
You said that already.
Really? Well, their names are...
I know their names.
I've told this story before?
Just that part.
Why do the sisters live in a well? Must I repeat myself?
You haven't said that part already.
Oh.
Perhaps you should start again?
Yes, good idea. Where was I don't think. May I rest my head on the table? Thank you.
Excellently told.
Bravo.
Happy from beginning to end.
But there was no beginning or end. It was just gibberish.
Have the courage to applaud what you do not understand.
But there was nothing to understand.
Shows what you know.
That mouse is a poet genius.
Take some more tea?
I haven't had any yet, so I can't take more.
You mean you can't take less? It's very easy to take more than nothing.
Nobody asked your opinion.
Who's being snarky now?
Keep your tea and your butter and biscuits. I've had enough. You should be ashamed treating a guest in this way. Whatever happened to manners?
They must have died with the time.
I am sick of your phrases and riddles and mind games. You think you're so clever, but you're really just a bunch of stuck-up old creeps.
That about captures us.
Goodbye and good riddance.
If you think we're waxworks, you ought to pay, you know.
Contrariwise, if you think we're alive, you ought to speak.
Well,
You were taken by surprise.
you could say.
Uncertain what to make of us.
I've never come across anything like the two of you before.
You've begun wrong.
The first thing in a visit is to say,
How do you do?
Okay then, how do you do?
There, now we're afoot.
properly afoot.
Well, I was hoping you could show me the best way out of these woods. It's getting so dark.
Next, we dance.
But the sun's nearly gone.
We dance now.
Isn't that unsafe?
Nonsense.
Just follow our lead.
No, I meant...
Here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush so early in the morning. Here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush so early in the morning. 2 verses is quite enough.
We shouldn't overexert.
I can keep going.
You don't know what's best for you.
It's fool's folly to continue.
What we need now is some water.
What we need now is an oxygen tank.
What is that strange noise?
My wheezing.
I'm panting.
No, it's coming from over there.
Oh, it's only the King of Hearts snoring.
Come and look at him.
Isn't he a lovely sight?
I'm afraid you'll catch a cold sleeping on that damp grass.
He's dreaming now.
How about what, I wonder?
You don't know?
Nobody can guess what someone else is dreaming.
Why, he's dreaming about you, I'd wager.
And how could you possibly know that?
Because you're here, and if he left off dreaming about you, where do you suppose you'd be?
I would still be here, same as now.
You'd be nowhere.
What do you mean?
Why, you're only a sort of thing in his dream.
If the king were to wake, you'd go out.
Bang!
Like a candle.
The two of you don't know what you're talking about. If I'm only a thing in his dream, what are you, I'd like to know?
Ditto.
Ditto, ditto.
Hush, or you'll wake him.
And then we'd all be kaput.
You know very well you're not real.
I am real!
You won't make yourself a bit realer by crying.
If I wasn't real, I wouldn't be able to cry.
Those aren't real tears, know how?
This is so ridiculous. I've wasted too much time with the two of you. I'd better be getting out of this wood. It's getting darker by the minute. Do you think it'll rain?
No, I don't. At least, not under here, know how.
But it may rain outside. We've no objection.
Selfish things. Good night. What's that now?
Oh dear.
What a thick black cloud that is. I do believe it's got wings.
Coming for us all.
The Jabber what?
Run! Run!
The Jabberwock.
The Jabberwock is near!
Jabberwock?
Jabberwocky. Jabberwocky.
I was brilling in the slifty tubes.
Did Gyre and Gimble in the wave?
Old Mimsy where the boar goes.
And the mome rats outgrave.
Where are the Jabberwocky, my son?
The claws that catch, the jaws that bite.
Beware the Jub bird and shun.
The fruminous Bandersnatch.
Took his vocal sword in hand.
Long time the Max gnome foe he sought.
So rested he by the tum-tum tree.
And stood a while in thought.
And an utter slut he stood.
The Jabberwock with eyes of flame
came whiffling through the tulgey wood.
And burbled as it came.
1, 2.
1, 2.
And through and through.
The vorpal blade went snicker-snack.
He left it dead, and with its head
he went galumphing back.
And hast thou slain the Jabberwock?
Come to my arms, my beamish boy.
Oh, frabjous day!
Callooh!
Calais!
He chortled in his joy.
I was brilling in the slifty tubes.
Did Gyre and Gimble in the wave?
All Mimsy where the boar goes.
And the mome rats outgrave.
Jabberwocky!
Jabberwocky!
Well, that dude looks just like an egg.
I heard that.
You can't deny the resemblance.
It's very provoking to be called an egg. Very.
Well, I said you look like an egg, sir. And some eggs are very pretty, you know.
Some people have no more sense than a baby.
I didn't mean to.
Stop chattering to yourself and tell me your name and business.
I'm Alice.
It's a stupid name. What does it mean?
Must the name mean something?
Of course it must. My name means the shape I am. And a good, handsome shape it is, too. With a name like yours, you might be any shape.
Why do you sit there all alone?
Because there's no one with me.
Don't you think you'd be safer down on the ground? That wall is pretty narrow.
What tremendously easy riddles you ask. Why, if I ever did fall off, which there is no chance of, but if I did, the king has promised me, with his very own mouth, to
send all his horses and all of his men.
How did you know that?
It's in a book.
In a book?
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again.
Yes, yes. All of his horses and all of his men. They'd pick me up again in a minute, they would.
What a beautiful belt you've got on. Or is that a scarf?
It is a most provoking thing when a person doesn't know a scarf from a belt.
But you're such an odd shape, it could be either one.
It's a scarf, child. And a beautiful one, as you say. It was a present from the king and queen.
Was it really?
We're close. Real tight. They gave it to me. They gave it to me as an unbirthday present.
I beg your pardon?
I'm not offended.
What is an unbirthday present?
A present given to you when it isn't your birthday, of course.
Well, I like birthday presents the most.
You don't know what you're talking about. How many days are there in a year?
365?
And how many birthdays have you?
1.
Thus, there are 364 days where you might get an unbirthday present.
Right.
And only 1 for birthday presents. There's glory for you.
I don't know what you mean by glory.
Of course you don't till I tell you. I meant there's a nice knockdown argument for you.
But that's not what glory means.
When I use a word, it means just what I choose it to. Neither more nor less.
You decide.
One must master one's words, or they will master you. They've a temper, some of them, particularly verbs. They're the proudest. Adjectives you can do anything with, but not verbs. However, I can manage the whole lot of them. Impenetrability. That's what I say.
What does impenetrability mean?
Impenetrability is when you've had enough of a subject, and it would be just as well if you mentioned what you mean to do next, as I suppose you don't mean to stop here all the rest of your life.
That's a lot to make a word mean.
When I make a word do a lot of work, I pay it extra.
You pay your words?
A fair wage. You should see them on payday. A very excitable bunch. I know all words, and thusly I can explain all poems ever invented, and a good many that haven't been invented yet.
It's impossible to know all words.
Many are good friends of mine, or at least acquaintances.
I bet I could stump you.
Do you dare challenge me?
I bet that I could find a word online that you don't know.
Online?
Oh, but wait, my phone doesn't work.
Phone?
My smartphone.
Smartphone? What's so smart about it?
Well, if it were charged, I could access the internet.
Internet?
Yeah, you know, the internet.
I dare say. You've indeed stumped me. You're a crafty one. I see you have your own army of words.
But I haven't even...
Please, don't boast. You've played your words, your strange words, very well. Now, goodbye.
Goodbye?
Are we not done here?
Well, I was hoping you could point me in the direction.
I cannot.
But I haven't even finished.
I do not point. It is very rude to point.
If you could just tell me where the garden is.
I cannot and will not. Now it's time for you, and your bizarre words, to be going.
Alright then, if you say so. Till we meet again.
I wouldn't know you again if we did meet. You're so exactly like other people.
You mean my face?
That's the primary complaint. Your face is the same as everybody has. The 2 eyes on top, nose in the middle, mouth under. Oh, hum. Now, if you had the eyes on the same side of the nose, for instance, or the mouth on top, then possibly I'd remember you.
It would not look nice.
That's not the point. You see, that's your problem. You don't understand. What's that? Did you feel that?
Feel what?
Slippage.
Slippage?
I suddenly feel unsettled, unhinged. I'm slipping.
Slipping?
I'm slipping. I'm slipping. Call the king. Call the king. Ah!
Are you alright? Oh no, that's not good.
All the king's horses and all the king's men. All the king's horses and all the king's men. All the king's horses and all the king's men. All the king's horses and all the king's men.
I'll never find this garden.
But you've come so far.
I just want to go home.
You can't go home without finding the garden.
I'll backtrack. I'll retrace my steps.
What good will that do?
I'll leave the way I came.
Leave, but you just arrived.
I feel like I've spent half of my life in this place.
The minutes do move slower here.
All the more reason for me to be going.
You'll find the going is harder than the coming.
Then won't you help me find the garden?
You're not far.
But which way?
Listen, you can hear it.
The garden?
Listen.
I don't hear anything.
The flowers in the garden, you can hear them.
Hear them?
Laughing.
That's ridiculous.
Perhaps you should stop saying that.
But flowers can't laugh.
You prefer your flowers to be sad?
Flowers don't have emotions.
Oh no, you haven't spent much time in gardens.
Well, if my phone worked, I'd prove it.
Maybe it's time you put your phone away and took note of the world you live in.
It's impossible to know where you stand here with everyone spouting such nonsense.
You keep attaching these words, ridiculous, nonsense, to your surroundings. Consider whether these words are better suited for you.
But come on, laughing flowers? Really?
Again, you've missed my point.
Wait, you're fading.
My grin is scheduled elsewhere.
You're disappearing.
Perhaps we'll meet at croquet.
I'll ask once more, where is this garden?
What I've already said.
Why do you have to be so evasive and difficult?
I'm a cat.
Come back, please.
Follow the sound of laughing flowers.
What an odd sight she was.
All puffed up.
With 9 points.
And petals like stumps.
What sort of flower do you think she was?
Like none I've ever seen.
Possibly, she's a new flower.
Or a very old one.
The Cheshire Cat was right. This must be the garden.
Well, well, here comes another.
Similar in ways.
The less faded.
And less withered.
But very mobile.
Am I mistaken, or were you just talking with each other?
We can talk when there's anybody worth talking to.
And can all flowers talk?
As well as you can. And a great deal louder.
I'm Alice.
I have no recollection of a flower called Alice.
Oh, I'm not a...
Just the same. Her face has got some sense to it, though it's not a very clever one.
I've seen worse flowers.
Me too.
Well, she's no rose, that's for sure.
What's that supposed to mean?
Yeah, are you implying that you're better than us?
Well, yes I am. Isn't it generally accepted that the rose is the loveliest of the flowers?
You are so high and mighty.
Always going around like your you-know-what doesn't stink.
Well, it doesn't. I'm a rose.
Oh, the gall.
This is why I can't be around you.
Because you feel inferior.
That's it. If I could get at you, you'd be in trouble, Rosie.
You're all talk, Lily.
Shut up, Violet.
Don't tell Violet to shut up.
You shut up too, Daisy.
I hate it when you all fight over me.
Ladies, you should stop bickering.
Who are you to tell us what to do?
Yo, who are you?
If you don't hold your tongues, I'll pick you.
You're no flower. You're an animal.
That's true, actually.
I feel nauseous.
I feel faint.
Life is cruel.
Don't worry, I won't pick you. But I do need your help. Who was that you were describing earlier?
Earlier, I couldn't say.
Flowers have very short-term memories.
You said she had 9 points.
That's not ringing any bells.
You are all having a good laugh over her.
Laughing? Together? Us?
That seldom happens.
I think the person you may have been describing was the Queen of Hearts, and I'm desperately trying to find her croquet game.
Is that the queen there?
I'll hear no more on it.
Listen to reason, Dumpling.
The croquet will go on.
But there's rain coming. Look at the storm cloud over there.
What's a little rain?
Everyone knows you can't play croquet in the rain.
Rain? Did he say rain?
I think he did. I think he said rain.
Rain! Yay! I love the rain.
Rain! Hooray!
This is wretched, just wretched.
There will be other days for croquet.
I was partial to this one.
We could play chess instead.
I'd rather watch a beheading.
Like I've told you a million times, there's not one scheduled for today. You cleared your slate to play croquet.
Then we must schedule some immediately.
For what offense?
Someone must pay for the rain.
I don't mean to interrupt, but are you perhaps the Queen of Hearts?
No, I'm the milkman. What's it look like, child?
My name is Alice, so please, Your Majesty.
It doesn't.
Just the same, it's a great honor to meet you.
Curtsy when you address me, girl. This isn't the rodeo.
Oh, yes, of course, Your Majesty. It is most awesome to be in your presence.
Awesome.
Really awesome.
What a queer tongue she has, wouldn't you say?
Borderline gibberish.
Where do you come from? And where are you going? Look up, speak nicely, and don't twiddle your fingers.
She hates finger twiddling.
Well, where I've been and where I'm going, it's not easy to say.
Try.
Well, I fell down a rabbit hole, you see, and then I came to some talking doors. I went through one of them, and well, I lost my way.
Your way? I don't quite know what you mean by your way. All the ways here belong to me.
Yes, without question, I should have known.
There is much you should know.
Nicely put, Dumpling.
Don't call me Dumpling in public.
Sorry.
Shut up.
As you wish.
Where was I?
Where were you when?
Before this noodle of a girl interrupted me.
Noodle?
I couldn't say.
It was something important. What was I on about?
As I recall, it had something to do with dessert recipes.
No. It was the rain. I was demanding that someone must pay for the coming rain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right. I remember now. Well, better go take shelter.
Her! She is to pay for the rain and the end of my croquet.
Me?
She must be punished.
Really, dear, think about this.
Guards! Guards! Where are my guards?
Did you call for your guards or for your cards?
Either will do.
We're at your service then.
Off with her head!
Yes, Your Majesty.
You can't behead someone over a little rain.
I can and I will.
She rules by extreme measures.
I only wanted to see the garden.
And was it to your liking?
What's not worth dying over?
We all lose our heads sometimes.
A king, please, you have to help me.
Really, my sweet, the girl's right. A little rain is no reason to behead someone.
I want heads to roll. Why won't you give me what I want?
I will, my sweet, I will. But maybe we should consider a more serious charge.
A more serious charge?
A crime more benefiting the punishment.
Not rain.
Not rain.
Instead,
a crime where the chopping off one's head isn't so extreme.
I see. Like theft?
A theft? Now you're thinking.
Is this how they always talk?
Can you think of a theft, a recent theft, so terrible, so ghastly, it might justify the loss of one's head?
I just remembered. I believe someone this very morning stole my tarts.
Oh, the horror.
Yes, I believe this very morning my tarts were ransacked.
Your tarts were ransacked and you're only now telling me?
I only now remembered it.
You just made it up.
Do you dare accuse the Queen?
This tart thief must be brought to justice.
Post haste!
Whom do you suspect?
There can only have been one person.
Whom, my love, whom?
The Maid of Hearts.
Maid of Hearts. But we should not behead any of our maids. Could help us so hard to find.
No, you imbecile. The Maid of Hearts is standing before us.
You mean...
Alice.
Alice.
No, that makes no sense. I've never even met you till now.
Alice is the Maid of Hearts that stole my tarts.
Of course. It's all fitting together.
Nothing is fitting together. You're all crazy.
Off with her head, I say!
I demand a trial.
Waste of time.
But you've proven nothing yet.
Very well. There will be a trial immediately. I command it. And everyone must attend to see this fiend be brought to justice. Everyone, I say. Everyone who calls their home Wonderland.
Hear ye, everybody. The Queen of Hearts, she made some tarts all in a summer's day. The Maid of Hearts, she stole those tarts and took them quite away.
Has the jury reached a verdict?
We haven't started the trial yet.
Oh. That's why I'm here. First witness.
The court calls the strange door to the stand. State your name for the court.
I'm Adore.
Very good. And where did you meet this Alice?
In the Hall of Strange Doors.
And what were you doing there?
I'm a strange door.
Right. And how would you describe your relationship with this Alice?
Cordial, I suppose.
So you like this Alice?
I mean, from what I know of her, sure. Except there was this one thing.
Yes?
It's too monstrous to mention.
Take your time.
I've never been so afraid.
For the sake of the court, we must know.
It's unspeakable.
Speak it, I beg you. What is this heinous thing Alice did?
Me and my friends. She threatened to break us down.
She did the same to us. She threatened to pick us from our stands.
And me. She knocked me from my wall. I had a great fall.
No more questions, Your Majesty.
Witness excused.
Must we continue? Judging from the door, it seems quite open and shut.
A character of disrepute. Can there be any doubt? The deviousness, the haughtiness.
She tried to take away my love of smoking.
Evil.
This trial is becoming a circus.
Pipe down, young lady, I will hold you in contempt. Next witness.
The court calls the Mad Hatter to the stand.
I beg your pardon, Your Majesty, for bringing these in. I hadn't quite finished my tea when I was sent for.
Take off your hat.
Is it mine?
Stolen?
I keep them to sell. I've none of my own. I'm a hatter.
Is that so?
Yes, Your Majesty, a very fine one.
Have you ever set your eyes on this girl?
I dare say I have.
And when was this?
At tea time.
You invited her for tea?
Dear me, no. Why would I do that?
Then how is it that you two, that is to say the two of you, became acquainted?
She forced her company upon us.
Appalling.
She sat at her table without entreaty, mind you, and then gobbled up all of our crumpets.
She did, Your Majesty. I was there. Every crumpet in sight.
You see, if she'd gobbled crumpets, she would surely steal tarts.
Why are you telling such lies?
And that's not the worst of it.
There's more?
She also mocked the Dormouse's story.
This is getting more disgraceful by the minute.
She pestered him with questions and setting to plot until he was nearly humiliated.
His story was nonsense.
The Dormouse's story was a moving examination between life and death and everything in between. Isn't that right?
Isn't that right?
I vehemently object.
You agree?
I vehemently agree.
You see?
You're all mad.
Just like the cat said.
Call the next witness.
But I've not finished questioning this one.
He's eating. It's time to move on.
The court calls Tweedledum and Tweedledee.
State your names to the court.
I'm D.
I'm dumb.
So you are.
Do you know this girl here?
She accosted us in the woods.
Accosted you?
In the woods, she did.
And how did she accost you?
She forced us to dance.
And in doing so, nearly ended us.
That is not true. You asked to dance with me.
Why would we do that?
Physical activity is not our strong suit.
Know how?
What happened next, after you nearly died from dancing?
You don't want to know.
You really don't.
Why is that?
You'll never sleep soundly again.
Know how.
What happened?
A black cloud came over us.
Dark and thick.
A rain cloud?
The Jabberwock!
The Jabberwock!
The Jabberwock? The Jabberwock?
A thief and a murderer. Wherever she goes, the Jabberwock follows, you see.
Guilty. Guilty on all counts of stealing tarts from the Queen of Hearts.
Off with her head!
Off with their head!
Off with her head! Off with her head!
Stay away, all of you.
Off!
I'm innocent. I mean it. Stay away.
Off with her head! Off with...
Wonderland.
Off with her head! Off with her head! Off with her head!
I want to go home. Wonderland. Wonderland, Wonderland, Wonderland. Wonderland, Wonderland,